Allen Robinson of the Bears may be available unless he isn't. That was the ping pong match yesterday in the media between the receiver who's entering the final year of his contract with the Bears, who hasn't gotten a new contract, and who wants a new contract. And now other things are unfolding now that week one has come and gone to try to make it happen. Yesterday afternoon, NFL media says that Allen Robinson has removed references to the team from his social media, a reflection of his frustration over the state of talks on a new contract. No trade request as of now. That was 2:42 p.m. Eastern. Less than 20 minutes later, the Chicago Tribune reports that Allen Robinson has asked about a possible trade, and then a few hours after that, Shefty says that Robinson's agent says that he and his client haven't requested a trade. However, Robinson is unhappy that Chicago has been unwilling to pay him market value for wide receivers. So basically, Robinson's holding the grenade. He's got the pin in one hand, and he's just getting ready to pull it as it relates to asking for a trade.
Right.
And look, maybe it's too early in the season to ask for a trade. The trades usually get done later. We saw last year a Mohamed Sanu for a second-round pick, Emmanuel Sanders for a third-round pick close to the deadline. But, this is something that we definitely have to monitor because he wants to be paid. The Bears don't want to do it yet. And if they're not going to do it, then trading him becomes an option, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly does. And, again, I'm always in favor for the player using any avenue they need or deem necessary to get, what they feel they deserve. This is a tough one here. First off, Allen Robinson's, he's in the $14 million a year range, right, at the wide receiver position. The other thing I would sit there and I would go, first off, at just base value, I look at that and go, I think that's pretty fair. I mean, he's in the class of the Stephon Diggs, T.Y. Hiltons, Devontae Adams, Jarvis Landry. I would argue that those guys are better than him. So that would be my first thing to just go, okay, wait, so what's he really commanding here? Now, there are some other guys that are arguably making a little bit more than him that you could say he's better than. Yeah, there might be Brandon Cooks who got overpaid. You could probably make an argument for that. But here would be the other thing, too, if I'm the Bears, where I'd go like, what? Wait, you're asking for a new contract. You got here, you've had 1,000-yard season, and in the last 4 years, you've played less than half the games on the schedule. He's played 31 out of 64 games. That's really hard to stand on that ground and say, I deserve more money. I'm a key part. First off, there's injury issue there, and then the production hasn't been so overwhelming that I'm like, this is crazy. You got to pay the guy. Go ahead. What?
It's weird because he had a 1,000-yard season last year when the offense was horrible.
Right.
But he still stood out. The year before that, when the team was good, he was under 1,000 yards. He missed 3 games. And you mentioned the number of games he's missed over a 4-year period. One of the problems is he tore an ACL week 1 in 2017.
Yeah.
And I think that makes him even more sensitive to getting a deal done because he knows what can happen to a season. You're in a contract year. Look what happened to Marlon Mack on Sunday. I think that's a warning shot to anyone out there who's trying to get a contract. The chances of you getting that injury that will wipe out your market value is there.
Yes.
And he is under a 3-year, $14 million contract, $10.9 million in base salary this year. And look, he's doing what he has to do to get more. He didn't hold out. He could still hold in. I mean, that's the next step here. Will he play until they do this deal? Will he go the Jalen Ramsey route? Now, Jalen Ramsey, I guess, what was he injured or injured? I mean, everybody knew Jalen Ramsey wasn't playing.
Well, and there was a blow-up and all that. Between,
right.
Well,
there's a blow-up now. It's a different kind of blow-up now. The question, though, is will we see him on the field? And I think that's going to be very telling. Are they going to put him on mothballs while they figure out whether to trade him, or is it just going to be full steam ahead? We have you under contract. We're paying you good money. We expect you to show up and play. And if we trade you, we trade you, forcing him to continue to endure the injury risk. Because I think the injury risk is the reason that this has all been brought to a head.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I do. And you got to try to protect your interests in your body that way. And when you've been injured early in a year, it scars you. And you're always going to be aware of that. Whether you got injured or a friend or a teammate, you see that, and that is in your mind. It's out of nowhere. And here we are, week 1, off a big win. You were losing to the Detroit Lions. I guess I just question the timing of it. And, again, the player himself is a really good player, but I don't know if I put him in the status of okay, he can command more money anytime he wants type of football player. It's a little different to me there. I will say that. As far as like an Alvin Kamara or other guys that we have seen, do this during this lockout or training camp, man, the guys that have done it are like integral to the team's scheme and success, to where the team is not going to be as good unless that player is a part of what they're doing, not only because the player's good, but because of how the coach uses the player within his scheme as a perfect fit. And that's also, I don't think, necessarily a thing that Allen Robinson can sit here and argue as far as his case on the Bears.
I don't know if we've done this before, like Pina and Pina, but there is a G, not a C, in integral. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
Integral.
Not
Kroll.
Yeah, did I say Cole there? Like integral?
Integral. You said integral.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
I think it's getting worse instead of better. We better just move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
I think Allen Robinson took the leap of faith that something was going to get done, and then it didn't, and then week one comes and goes, and in the aftermath, of the first game, and you've got COVID-19 concerns, you're traveling, you get back and you're like, hey, wait a minute, this is messed up. I mean, yesterday was his first day off. He has a chance to digest what's going on, and he gets pissed off.
Yeah.
So I understand the timing, especially when you consider he's had a week one season-ending injury in his past, and Marlon Mack had a week one season-ending injury. And you throw Michael Thomas on top of it, too. It's another reason for guys to be concerned if they are in the last year of a contract.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.